Hey everybody, Jeremy here. So today I'm going to be making a steak, but I'm going to be preparing it in a way that's a lot different than what I usually do. I'm going to be using the sous vide method to make this steak, and to help me do that, I'm going to use this device. Now this is the Febote Sous Vide cooker, and I do want to say thank you to the company behind this for sending it to me so that I could review it and show you guys what it's like to use it. Now the steak that I'm going to be making is a chuck-eye steak, which is similar to a ribeye, but not quite all the way up there like a ribeye. But at the same time, it's like half the price and it's still very good. So it's a very inexpensive cut of meat, but it's still pretty good. And if you're not familiar with the sous vide method, basically what you're doing is you're cooking inside of a water bath. I'm going to take the meat, put it into a freezer bag basically, and then we're going to lower it into the water. And what this does is that it sets the temperature to that water very precisely. And the temperature of the water is going to be the exact temperature that you want the meat to be. Now the advantage of doing that is you don't have to worry about trying to nail precise cooking times in order to get that temperature that you want. Because even if you leave the meat in that water for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it's still going to be held at that same temperature. So that frees you up to do other things. You can prepare other food, you can take a nap, or you can just hang out because you're not hungry at that moment. But by the time this is done and you decide, okay, now I want to eat the steak, all you have to do is take it out the water, sear it, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to show you everything that I am going to do to prepare this steak. But before I do that, let me show you everything that you're going to get with this particular sous vide cooker if you decide to purchase it. And there will be a link in the description of this video to Amazon where you can purchase it there. So let me show you what you get. It's pretty cool. Now, in addition to the actual cooker itself, they also threw in some really cool bonuses. You're gonna get like 5 of these freezer bags. This is what you put the food in this case, the meat. And if you have a vacuum sealer, you would normally vacuum seal the bags. But with this, you don't have to, because they also include this little hand pump. I'm going to show you how it works, but basically, once you put the meat in here and you seal this, you put the pump right there, and then you can manually suck the air out. And by doing that, you're going to allow the meat to sink down into the water. So it's really, really awesome that they included about 5 of these bags in with the cooker. Now, if you're wondering, are these bags reusable? They could be, but if you're going to put raw meat in there, then I cannot recommend that you reuse them. But if you're doing something like vegetables or something like that, after you give them a good clean, I don't see any reason why you couldn't. This is the chuck-eye steak I was telling you about. So I didn't really do a whole lot to this. I bought this earlier this morning, and all that I did was I rubbed some lime juice on it front and back, and then I just seasoned it with salt and pepper, and you can kind of see it like that. And then I put it inside of a regular little freezer bag, and I just put it in the fridge because I wasn't ready to cook it. So it's been sitting there, you know, absorbing all that goodness for many, many hours. But now it's time to cook. It's been sitting out for a little bit, and now I'm just going to show you how you can use the bag that comes with the Febote sous vide cooker and seal it with the hand pump. All right, so we're just going to grab the meat, stick it in the bag. In case you're wondering, yes, I have washed my hands in between the take. So now I'm just going to seal this, and it's a pretty darn good seal. It is tough. All right, make sure that we got that nice and sealed. Double check it. Yep, so we're sealed. All right, so we still have some air left in here. You can probably see it there. And that's where this hand pump comes in handy. So we're going to position it right over the little circle on the bag, press down on it somewhat firm, and then just pump it up so it can suck all the air out. So you can probably see that the air is getting sucked out of it. The plastic is coming around the steak more. And we are almost done. All right, there we go. Less than a minute. And we sucked the vast majority of the air out of this bag. All right, so we are good to go. Now we just have to prepare our pot. So if you look around on the internet and look at some sous vide videos, you'll see that there's a lot of people who like to use these clear tubs to do all their cooking in. And that's cool. You can find those on Amazon. Some of them cost $20, $30, $40 and up. But you really don't need something like that. You can use something like this. Now this is a 12-quart stainless steel pot. Got it from Walmart. It was like $7. It works perfectly fine for something like this. So we're just going to fill this with water about halfway. And here's a little tip. Fill it up with hot water. That way you don't have to wait as long for the sous vide cooker to bring it all the way up to the temperature that you want. All right, so now we got the hot water inside of the pot, a little more than halfway. Don't go too high. And now this is all that you have to do. We're going to take the cooker and we are going to put this, lower it into the water. And then there's this little clip on this side that you can just press it, lower it down. So there is a minimum line and a maximum line already on the cooker. So you have to make sure that you have the water past the minimum line. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you. Now, once you got that clipped on, all you have to do is plug it in. So it automatically tells you what the temperature of the water is. In this case, it's 129 degrees. I want the water to be like 132. I'm trying to get about like a mid-rare cook on the steak. So now we're just going to turn it on. All right, so it automatically remembered last time when I tried this, it's an hour and 30 minutes. That's what I set the timer on. But what you would have to do is just hit this setup button and it goes through the time that you want to set to cook. So you can set the hour right there, tap it again, and then you can set the minute. And then you tap it again, and then there's the set temperature. And then you can go up or down. So I'm going to set it at 132 and then hit this button right here, and it's starting to circulate. So the temperature dropped to 128 degrees. So it's just going to keep on working on it all the way up until it gets to 132 degrees. And then I'm going to put the meat in. So we are there. We're at 132 degrees. The temperature is going to fluctuate like 1 degree every now and then. But for the most part, it's going to stay at 132. So I got the bag here, and then we're just going to lower it into the water until it's fully submerged. And I also have this little clip. This is just a little binder clip that you can get in any big box retail store in the home and office section. And I just clipped it to the side here just so that the meat can stay in one place and it really won't be moving around. So as you can see, it's just hanging out in there. So that's where it's going to live for the next hour and a half. And when that's done, I'm just going to come back and show you how we're going to finish it up. But that's it. So now our steak is done. I've taken it out of the water and look at that. Doesn't that just look so unappetizing? Yeah. Because when you sous vide something, even though this is technically cooked to the temperature that I wanted it to be cooked at, it's still not done because we need to sear it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pat it dry just with these 2 paper towels here. Over here I got my cast iron skillet, so I'm just going to turn on the heat. It's going to be pretty high. And I also got myself some vegetable oil and pour a little bit of that into the skillet. I'm going to wait until the pan starts to smoke. Then I'm going to throw the meat over in there. Now this is very, very important. This happens really quick, so don't walk away during this process. Just go ahead, put the meat in there once it starts to smoke. And it might take you a minute, maybe even less than a minute on each side for you to brown it up, but just keep an eye on it. And once that's complete, we'll be ready to eat. right, so here's our steak has been resting for about 5 minutes. And now that everything is done, let's cut into it and see what we have. Let's just cut it right down the middle. Let me see that looks nice and pink. All right, that's what the inside looks like. And I think that looks pretty good. Cool thing about sous vide cooking is, as you can see, we got that pink that goes from edge to edge, as opposed to just being a little bit in the middle and not all the way up and down. But let's just cut into this and let's try a piece. Yeah, that is good flavor. It's soft, it's tender. It's just a really nice cook of meat. And let me tell you, situation happened with me where I left it in that water for maybe about 45 minutes longer than I wanted to because I fell asleep. But it didn't matter because I just brought it out of the water, seared it, and you can see the results right here. Still absolutely wonderful. So this is just one thing that you can do with sous vide cooking. And once again, if you're interested in this particular sous vide cooker, there is a link in the description. Take you over to Amazon where you can check it out there. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. And until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.